With me today is part of Lynx Deluxe. We've got Andy Browne and we've got Lucy Theodora. Lucy plays bass. Andy does some songwriting. He's kind of the front man. And first of all, welcome to the show. I'm glad you guys are doing this.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thanks so much for having us.
It's so much fun, and people watching may think, where did this happen? Well, Andy and I used to play in a band together, and Andy's had several bands, and it depends on what form of life you're in. There's the Andy Browne Troupe, there's the Andy Browne Trio, which I think was 5 people, and now it's Lynx Deluxe. So you're now based in Atlanta. You've been playing a lot of gigs. You're doing a lot of songwriting. There's a new album in the works, possibly?
Yes. Yeah, we're recording stuff at Capricorn, and some
That's
of it,
awesome.
And yeah, it was really, 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 really neat. I mean, it was just such a cool place. And then we're editing those, and then possibly going to go back and record some more at Capricorn, we hope. And
you have a cat.
Yes, you hear him.
He can stay.
He's a talker.
I get it. It's not a problem.
So those the Capricorn sessions are being produced by Palmer Wood,
okay.
And executive produced by Jason Becknell at Radio Tucker. And we have quite a support system down here. Kelly Thompson, photos and videos, and a lot of people just working with us. And we really appreciate their help. It's hard to get things done in today's business of music, but when people just, they're gold. We love them all.
And you talk to people or if people that aren't in the music biz, and you say something like, they immediately think New York and LA, or primarily LA, and then you say Atlanta and they're like, what's going on in Atlanta? But there's been a huge music scene in Atlanta for a long time.
I mean, I work in a record store, so it's just like I see it every day. And it's, it's a very vibrant music scene. It's, a real good mix of stuff too. It's not just rap, hip hop, like people would think, Atlanta is
right,
stereotypically rap and hip. But my theory is that there's a completely new genre emerging in music, that it's a combination of rock, rap, and not rap, rock, hip hop, and jazz elements. I mean, and so it's like it's stuff that you can put it in the rap hip hop section, but it could go other places too. Like people like Tyler, the Creator. He is an amazing, musician and orchestrator of music. And so yeah, there's really but I mean, he's not Atlanta, but you have Outkast and a bunch of other bands, and there's some new ones that nobody even knows about that are really good.
Right.
I think it's something in the clay down here, because it is a hotbed of music creativity, all kinds of stuff going on. Obviously, in the 80s, you had the B-52s and REM breaking new ground. And so all the soul music coming out of Macon and the Allman Brothers, and it's just, Georgia is just rich in music history. And it's now we see like just, incomprehensible talent coming out of here in all genres. So we love Georgia, and we especially love Atlanta.
That's great. That's great. Okay. So let's describe the band. Let's describe Lynx Deluxe. Who's in it and what do they do?
Oh, well, I play bass. And Andy sings and plays like rhythm guitar, and he writes most of the songs, the lyrics and stuff. And
I've heard Andy play guitar. If you want to play guitar, it's fine.
And his brother Dean plays lead guitar, and he's really, really good.
Cool.
We're really lucky to have Billy Fields on keys. He's a great human being and a really nice person, great talented musician. And then our drummer, the anchor of the band, is Brad Matson, and he's just fantastic. Just like a drumming machine.
Well, the fact that you're recording at Capricorn, there's got to be a certain vibe to just being in that studio, because as everyone knows, Capricorn's Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker Band, that whole crew back in the 70s was doing there. So that's got to be kind of special. at this stage of the
Oh,
game.
yeah.
It was Rob Evans down there was engineer, and we took when we were down there. We actually played down there the night after we recorded down at Grant's Lounge. But just being in Macon alone was just a huge treat. But being in that studio was I don't want to get all metaphysical, but it was unearthly type vibe where you just were soaking up history. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I totally agree.
We are blessed by, like I said, the people that helped us do that. And we hope to go back. But I've been in a few studios in my life, and I can't explain in words the feeling that gives you to be in such a historic place.
So was Capricorn basically like a blues label up until the Allman Brothers?
I think it had a lot of soul in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Otis Redding was there. He recorded there. Yeah.
So cool. There's a huge soul. I think the soul was responsible for a lot of the Capricorn and Macon scene getting started too. And
right.
I wanted to mention. I mentioned the B-52s. Lucy works at Wax and Facts, which is a record store here in Atlanta, in Little Five Points.
I love record stores.
And we're
Wax and Facts.
We're really tight with the owner, Danny Beard, who is an incredible human being. But he had a label, DB Records, in the early '80s, and they put out Rock Lobster, the B-52's first single. And but Lucy works there. She's been working there 3 or 4 years now, and I think it's the oldest record store in Atlanta. So if you get a chance to come down to Atlanta,
oldest continually operating record store. There were ones that were there before Wax and Facts, but we're the only one that's like still operating, and it's been 46 years. So
and it's wild because there is such a resurgence of vinyl that's been going on the past 10 years, and it's interesting to see at this stage of the game. If you go out and online and look at some of the used record places, how their prices have jumped in the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah,
you can go out and get something for $2 or $3.99. It's now $25 or $40. So
oh God, man, there's some Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye West records that are over $50.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like it. But then also, like on one Beyonce song, you might have 4 different producers that you have to pay. So it's just like. They're paying through the nose for all these producers and all of these studios and things, and then they pass that savings on to their fans. But you also have like a band like Tool that has one record that they give to their fans for $17. So that's like, I love those guys. I don't like Tool's not. It's not like I don't like him, but it's not my thing. But I love them just because they give their fans a break.
Rode himself to shore, found himself a woman, bought himself a war. But when the saints call, a little rainbows and when the stars born, a little dust storm. When the saints call, oh, when the saints call.
you guys have been playing out a lot. You've been doing some shows here and there. Is it a mix of some of your older stuff and the newer stuff, or are you focusing primarily on what you've been doing lately?
So live-wise, we recorded our first album, Jungle Land, in 2021. And we're playing that plus new songs. And yes, sir, that is...
Well, that's the coaster for it. But
That's the coaster for it.
So we're working on that. We got a couple covers. We're not really a cover band, but we'll throw in some Bowie. And I think we did a Faces song the other night too.
We do play a couple of like older songs that Andy wrote with when he was doing Andy Brown Troupe, and like a Jane Goodall, High Wire, those songs, but those are, we kind of picked the ones that were the favorites, and then wanted to move forward. And those, all that stuff he did back then was great. you know, and it's really creative. But the theme of this band is like kind of an incorporation of rock and soul and jazz and like the different influences, you know. I always think the Troop was more Americana, kind of rock Americana.
Right.
And,
it was more straightforward rock and roll kind of thing. But it sounds like you've taken a select few from, for example, the last release, Zazel, and then brought them into Lynx Deluxe and kind of refashioned them to what you've got going on.
Exactly.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Didn't you at one time, and maybe I'm imagining this, have a trombone player?
We did, yeah. We had two or three, and they're really great, and we're still working with them. The new stuff is more. I think Billy Fields came out of more of a, you know, instead of the background, we're kind of highlighting him. And my brother Dean on guitar, he's really special in his playing, and so we love the trombone. We're just on this next album. It's a little more associated with what we're doing live.
We kind of want to be able to play live what we're recording. And if we have the trombone, we don't always have the trombone player. So we can't always have that same sound that we want.
People think of brass and rock bands, and the first thing you think of is saxophone. But does Andy do that? No, he goes right for the trombone.
Well, I like the saxophone, though. I mean, I wish we had a saxophone player sometimes, but he doesn't. He's more partial to the trombone.
I think there's, like you're talking about, violins and trombones and different orchestrated instruments. There's just a certain rich quality, you know, that brings in. And it's when I think about that kind of things, I think about the Beatles, and I think about George Martin and how George Martin was able to bring these four little Lilliputians and make them sound like world-class music, which is relevant in the next 50 years, never mind today. It's every time I hear a Beatles song they're doing their later thing on, I'm overwhelmed with the beauty of the essence of that song and how they were able to mix instruments together and just make it all work.
Well, it probably didn't hurt that they were all incredible musicians. I mean, Paul McCartney is one of my favorite bass players. He has some beautiful bass lines, really cool. You know, and the fact that he could sing while he was playing those is pretty amazing.
I'll throw on one of the old Beatle albums now, whether it's, you know, Rubber Soul or going back to
that's a great record,
the first ones, or, you know, some of the later stuff. And it's just like, I'll put the White Album on and I'll just let it roll. And it's just you always hear something that you've never heard before.
Right.
And it's like, wow, where did that come from? And it's if every musician went to school on the Beatles, I think we'd all be happy.
Yes.
Like, I'm a really big fan of Wings. You know, a lot of people don't like Paul McCartney's solo stuff.
Right.
Because he's, you know, love songs and all that. But I really like them. But you're kind of right about that, because when you look back on even George Harrison, John Lennon, and Paul McCartney's solo work after the Beatles, some of it didn't have that same, like, you could listen to it over and over and then always hear something new. You know, they're brilliant, and I love all of their independent work. But it's like, the Beatles had something unique.
I think personally for me, when I listen to Beatles songs, we were doing an interview the other day from someone in Atlanta, and they asked me something, and I said, well, it's the psychology of the song now that gets to me more than the song, because I've heard the song, you know, a lot. And so I started looking back at like Penny Lane and different songs that the Beatles had written lyrically. And it's just inspirational to find how simple a title or a place can come from, and how influential and long lasting that song, timeless that song can be, just from someone's personal experience.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. The psychology of the song is, where did that person pull that inspiration from? You know, and that's what interests me now in music, not more than the music, but just as a songwriter, is how did that person get to that song? You know, there's just one rule that I've lived by for the last, 6 or 7 years in life, in songwriting, in art, whatever it is. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. speaking about keeping it simple, this song "Mercy" that is on Jungle Land seems to be getting a little bit of attention, and in essence, it's simple. But Lucy came to me with a bass line, and her mother had just passed. This is February 2020.
Yeah.
So this is probably the 6-9 months after that. But she came to me with a simple bass line, and she said, "Can we write something around my mom?" And I said, "Sure." So that song developed into what it is now on Jungle Land. But that relates to what I was talking about with things in your life. That kind of hit me when I was looking at that Penny Lane, listening to that, but it's things in your life that you're influenced by, and so Mercy's getting a little bit of tug from people. They really like that song, and it was written. Me and Lucy usually write the songs on little toy guitars at home, and then we take them to the band and stuff. But and so we never know how they're gonna turn out. But it's a soulful rock song, and we really like that song. But it hit me the other day is like, yeah, if you can take things in your life and transpose those into emotional content, well, you should have somewhat of a decent song if you can. Music to me, it's this universal language. It's so, we're talking about the simplicity of it, but it is so complicated to get to the essence of music because it heals. It makes people feel better. It communicates with people across all kinds of boundaries. And it is, music to me is I'm sorry to repeat myself, but it's the universal language of the world. Yeah.
I always thought math was the universal language of the world.
Well, math is very involved in music.
But I have this question, and this hit me the other day. It's totally kind of off topic, not really, but okay, sign language, right? So is the sign language that people use, not the letters, of course, but is it the same in Chinese as it is in American or English? You know what I mean? It's
That's a great question.
Like, thank you is this, okay? Fuck you is something like this or whatever. It's really close, but thank you is this. So is thank you the same in Indian as it is in English, or is it different? So sign language might actually be the universal language of the world. That's
a great question. I'm going to have to do some research.
I don't know the sign for I don't know.
I don't know that one either. Thank you is like this, I think. Thank you. No, love.
Love. This is love.
Yeah. And then thank you. And then, so I know a couple of them, but I'd love to learn sign language. That'd be a lot of fun.
Let me ask you guys, because you're doing this, you have to put up with this. I'm going to ask you guys some bizarre questions. Okay. Lucy.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite curse word?
Probably fuck.
It's a common one.
I say it a lot. I say it way too much, more than any other cuss word. My least used is goddamn. It's too strong.
Right. All right. Andy, what breed of dog would you be?
Anything spoiled beyond
a Shih Tzu. Yes. They're spoiled.
I'm particularly fond of, well, I like all dogs. Anything that's spoiled rotten.
Okay. Lucy, if you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be?
Probably strawberry.
Ooh, we haven't had one of those before. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, Andy, this one's especially for you. What song should play every time you walk into a room?
Changes by David Bowie.
That's a good one.
That's actually perfect. That's actually a great thing. Lucy, who would play you in a movie about your life?
Oh, geez. Well, I'm feeling like right now I look kind of like Lois from Bob's Burgers, the wife. So I'm thinking maybe her. I got the glasses and all. She just needs to purple it up.
Okay. Andy, what Looney Tunes character best represents you?
Who's the calmest character they have?
The calmest character they have?
They're like a turtle or something?
There is a turtle, but and he is.
You know, that would be good for you because there is the turtle in the old Bugs Bunny cartoons, and he always was able to outsmart Bugs because he was smarter than him. So that would be a good one.
Okay. So, yeah, I do like the Roadrunner. But I've been looking at the old, with all the Disney stuff going on, I've been looking at I didn't. I started looking a couple years back, but the original Mickey Mouse stuff from the 20s and stuff. I love all that old stuff.
The old Steamboat Willie Mickey
That's
Mouse.
it. Yeah. It's great stuff.
Gotcha.
Well, those cartoons were originally made for adults.
Of course they were. Yeah.
The subtle innuendos and things are just like, yeah, they were the jokes that the adults.
You go and look at some of the stuff from the 30s and 40s, and there's one Bugs cartoon that has a hand drawing of the original Marilyn Monroe Playboy pinup, you know, in the background, and it's like it was all made for the guys. They didn't care. Lucy, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to give you two things. You tell me what your preference is.
Okay.
Okay.
So is it either or?
This is an either or kind of thing.
Okay. I'm ready.
Pineapple pizza or candy corn?
Pineapple pizza.
Summer or winter?
Winter. I don't know. That's tough because I usually go for spring or fall, but probably winter. Yeah.
And you're in Georgia? Okay.
I know. It's hot down here. Winter is actually comfortable.
Passenger or driver?
That's tough. I like both. I tend to be the driver more than I am the passenger, so I guess driver.
Okay. All right, Andy. Yeah, I'm going to give you a bunch too. Eggs, omelet, or scrambled?
Over easy.
That's not you have to answer either or.
We'll let it go. I've had some of those answers with someone to say poached, and I was like, fine, whatever. Reese's Cup or Skittles?
I would definitely go with the Reese's, yes.
Yeah, me too.
Toilet paper, over or under?
I don't. Yeah, sure, over. Yeah.
Guys don't care. The women get militant about this.
I am. It's over every time. Really, it is. That's the way it's made. It's designed to be over. You know, that's. I've seen videos about this, like how it was designed for that.
Yeah, no, fine. I've just as many people that are militant about it being under as well. So
yeah, I don't get that. I can't relate.
Andy, what superpower would you rather have? The ability to move objects telekinetically or the ability to shift your shape?
Ooh.
I like the first one. I do.
Move things telekinetically?
Yeah, I do like that one, yes.
Lucy, would you rather live in a haunted castle or an abandoned train station?
Wow, that's interesting. I've always been partial to castles, but train stations are really cool. Is the train station haunted too?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Is the castle abandoned and haunted, or just haunted?
Got to use
Probably
your imagination.
The castle. Probably the castle. Yeah. Amenities.
Okay, Andy, would you rather have to eat only liver for the rest of your life, or be forced to watch an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians every day?
Well, I'm not a big liver fan, but I'm sure that Lucy, she's an excellent cook. I'm sure she could find ways to make liver work the rest of my life.
Look, it's not good. It's not good.
I agree. I can't stand it.
I can't either.
Lucy, would you rather have a car horn that plays YMCA every time you hit it, or own a car with your favorite cartoon character painted on the side?
Probably. Oh God. Yeah, probably the cartoon character painted on the side. Yeah.
Okay, I'm frightened to ask this, but I'm gonna anyway. Andy, would you rather have whatever you are thinking appear in a bubble above your head for everyone to read, or have everything you do be live streamed for everyone to see?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a very difficult psychological problem. It's not one I'm prepared to answer at this particular time, but thank you for the question. And because you asked me that, I have to ask you, Let me think of a good one for you. Would you rather have to listen to only Styx the rest of your life or REO Speedwagon?
Styx.
Okay. Well, at least you answered that one. So
yeah, I'd probably have to. No, never mind.
Right.
Lucy, I'm going to ask you the same question.
I'm sorry.
Would you rather have
No.
Would you rather have everything you are thinking appear in a bubble above your head for everyone to read, or have to have everything you do be live streamed for everyone
Can I ask,
to see?
does that include like, baths and going to the bathroom and brushing your
everything,
teeth?
just
Things,
everything.
Thoughts. Yeah. I'm really not a bad person, and my thoughts are generally not bad. So I'd prefer thought. Yeah.
Fine. God. Thank you guys for doing this. Anything else you want to plug or talk about before we wrap this insanity up and move forward?
If you like to, if you have some interest in some of the songs that Jim's going to play some clips of, lynxdeluxe.com, like the cat, LYNX deluxe.com.
With an E, deluxe with an E.
Is where you can find us. You'll find some interviews on there. You'll find this interview when it comes out, and there's some music on Spotify, and we're building.
Cool.
So,
and people will be able to hear the podcast of this on Spotify as well.
Oh, great.
So,
cool.
So we'll do that. So again, thank you guys for doing it. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
You walk, you're talking a handful of riddles, dancing like shadows in the rain. Those claims that nothing can cure your name that's called out for